Hello, this is Pigsy doing another video. Hope you're doing okay. What I'd like to share today, so investment stuff's all up and down. I think it's worth, if you're new to crypto anyway, it's probably worth, like, say, putting in a small investment because it depends. I mean, if you've got a retirement plan, 10 years, 20 years from now, that investment, how many X's will it increase by? Usually there's a cycle, and if you find where the bear market is and where the bull market is, if your investment grows by a certain amount, then you can see that, take that money out, and then put it to one side, and then reinvest it at a later date, and then just try to accumulate, really. I mean, there's other things like stocks and shares and other stuff. I think there's more accessible stuff because at the end of the day, can you rely on government pension to sort your life out and give you what you want when you retire? And the answer is probably not. And if you invest maybe in property, will that be worth it? Do you want to be stuck in this country? I mean, it could be that, wherever you are, it could be that you want to move around, or you've got some life plans. So I guess putting some plans into motion, which is a good idea. Taking advantage of new technology. So it's not really I'm telling people to say, hey, invest. I'm saying, there's an opportunity. If you get in early, you can benefit from it. But you have to understand what that risk is, what you're getting involved in. It's a bit like mobile phones. I avoided getting a mobile phone for ages, and then once the smartphones got to a certain point, then I was like, well, you need it in order to access your emails and do stuff. And yeah, I think it was like the old Nokia, block Nokias and stuff. But once it started to go a bit beyond that, you could put pictures on and forms. You could do recordings, or you could connect to your own Wi-Fi at home, and it started to pick up. I think it was a case of it's necessity. Nowadays, if you went into a job or something, and they'd ask you if your mobile. I said, well, I don't have a mobile. I just use a landline. I can imagine they were like, or do you have an email? I said, well, I don't use an email. All these things would work against you. Even just claiming benefits and other stuff, there's this expectation that you've got some sort of social media presence, that you've got email, you've got different formats of communication available that makes you available to them or whoever they are around the clock. And the other thing with digital finance is about integrating into the smart technology, so smartphones, and so you could send money by email and stuff, like you could say a QR code, someone scan that, and then they can say I received it, and then they could do that, and it could be crypto, or it could be whatever's coming in the future. It's just a kind of technology that exists, that's developing, and if you're in the right spot at the right time, you can take advantage of that. But then when there's something else new comes along, then that can all change again. So that might be not the flavor of the month. There's lots of competitors out there. They sell the idea of it, the hype. They might say this is fast, this does this does that, but you don't necessarily see what they actually do. You're just hearing the promises, and that you can check the speed of it or the efficiency of it. And so there's going to be some room for some expansion, because basically if the market's at 5% of people that have uptaken or involved in crypto, and everyone else, the 95%, they're not really aware of it, or they're aware of it and they think, well, maybe it's used for criminal activities, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, as a criminal, you take advantage of anything out there. It's a natural instinct. So something new comes along, and there's maybe less protocols in place, you will take advantage of it. But that's the same for any financial thing you can take advantage of. I mean, people take advantage of smartphones. There were chip and pin technology. There's ways that people scan people's cards through their pockets and use their sort of cards and stuff. So there's lots of ways around the system, basically, game the system. So that's what it is about, with gaming it. But then I guess the other thing is, the less savvy crims will stick to these certain technologies or use certain languages. Even YouTube, it's just full of like loads of ads that are basically QR codes, send my money over, all this sorts of stuff, which, it's not very productive, because they are censoring the material people make, but they're allowing people to pay to pretend they're actually founders of companies that want to send you money, and if you send them money, which makes no sense at all. But people will be vulnerable, and they'll be susceptible to it. So the best thing, if you want to get ahead, any asset you have, you want to keep hold of. You don't want to be giving it away, because a lot of people do. I see this like these antique roadshows and stuff. They got something, they find out it's worth a certain amount of money, and they just want to flog it straight away. I say, well, what are you going to do? I'm going to go to a holiday camp Butlins, or I'm going to have a slap-up meal with my sister or something, which is great. But the thing is, you're taking the asset and it's gone. So you don't actually have any proper wealth. And if the inflation levels change in the country, so that picture she had or that object goes up in value all the time, but she gets printed out more money. The problem is, if you give her the money and she puts it aside, it's worth less over time. That's probably why you just want to spend it straight away and enjoy it there and then. So that mindset goes on. Other stuff I was encountering, is it better just to stay single? I was watching some men's stuff on it. I think it's good to focus on yourself, and there's just so many romantic scam stuff out there. It's unbelievable. And it doesn't, I think really the mindset is you don't set yourself up to play a game where you're most likely going to lose. So there's probably a time and place for it for guys. And because we can just get on and do things, we just build things and whatever we do. But for some other people, it's not the same. So depending on the genders, it's different. It's a bit like my niece. So this person had transitioned to being a female. As soon as that they were considered a female by society, loads of men started approaching, started dating, and all sorts of things. Maybe they didn't know that the person was trans or what, I don't know, or maybe they just want to try it out. But the thing is, they acted completely different. So for this particular person, obviously I'm not going to sort of target my family, but there was a suddenly culture shift in that it's all about the dating game. That's like social dynamics. It's all this kind of, it's very socially driven. While the masculine, maybe it's more environmentally driven. So it's like doing stuff, building stuff, connecting things, making things, aiming at goals, money, transitioning to owning stuff and things like that. It's kind of, I don't know, that's maybe more like the masculine energy. But for female, maybe the more collective organisation, and gaining status and position. So, so for this person, suddenly he's got a pool of people that want to date them, they can sort of list them people in their different priorities. And some of them they might actually date, and some people might be just asking for favours and all sorts. So it takes away any work they have to do that maybe a bloke might do to attain certain things. Like he needs to get the car and to drive around to move stuff, and then also become more attractive to other people that might want to, onboard him in some way, I guess. I don't know how you see it. So yeah, these kind of thoughts are there. So it's been a while since I've done a video. I keep doing lots of videos and just not uploading them. I think it's because my camera setup in the car isn't quite right. Normally I drive around doing stuff, but it's so low down, it doesn't really work. And I need to focus on other areas of my life, move things along, like some of my own social media side type videos. These AI ones, I just keep knock a load of them out. It's because they're very quick to do. I can write some of the stuff, and I need to sort of, like I say, focus on other areas. And maybe I just need to get a calendar and plot out the whole year and say, like, these are the times you're going to have holidays, and this is what you're actually going to do, because I'm always working, and I'm actually losing out. Because most people would take as much holiday as they can, but for me, I've done the reverse. I just worked all the time. So I need to pull back on that, because I don't have to be like a workaholic. That's not going to help me and my health. And there's things that put me at high risk. Like I had to stop somebody falling yesterday. I think she had some broken toe or something in her foot. She's just too stubborn to deal with, really, or she's just mentally not able to in the one way. So she's ignoring the pain, but the problem was that she just collapsed under her own weight. And the wrist to my back, I had to align it, I had to re-straighten it and posture it and everything, wrap up, warm rest it. I mean, it's still vulnerable to getting injured. So I need to be thinking, set certain goals. So maybe I should look at my holiday entitlement, look at the year, look at how much I can take per month, split it up on there, then set some goals on actually doing things. The crypto stuff, I'm just going to let roll. So and it's kind of learning stuff. So when it comes to things like market cap, the lower the market cap could be the higher the return if it becomes quite popular. People there's a great uptake. However, the market's nuts. I saw some token called Troll, and it sort of zoomed up 1,000%. And it doesn't have any value at all. It's just a meme saying troll, basically. There's nothing else to it. So, but then again, are the other things just memes anyway? They just say that we do this, we do that, but actually it's just money flowing in the market for developers, investors to look at, and they might be just not doing anything similar. It's like, I don't know, Cardano, I don't know what that's doing, or ADA. But anyway, that's sort of heavy if you're into investment stuff. So basically for me, that's just, so an easy term is that you set certain, so with your life and finance, you want a range in there. So maybe I should look at stocks and shares and things in the future for long-term sort of game projects potentially, or things where you could got money there and it's kind of your savings and your pot, and then there might be medium investments you're planning to take out maybe in a couple of years. You might have something you're going to like 10 years, like, well, where would Tesla be in 10 years? I mean, these sorts of things. So set up a portfolio. That's just a kind of fallback asset plan, and you can tap into that and use it how you like. And also people say about physically owning things. So it's kind of you can own something, but can you sell it? So you need to have the means in which to sell something as well. So that's why some digital assets are not too bad in that sense, but it needs an interest or a hype to create that for people to want to buy it. And there's always the issue where you might get lost, because basically if something's not popular anymore and it drops down, you find it hard to sell and you won't get so much money. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Life stuff, I need to figure out what I need to put in place there. Now I've got to work on my health. I've got to work on my mental health as well, because I think it's draining working 7 days a week. And the other thing I want to say about is basically about masking or hiding your identity or playing out as an avatar. So I find it with work, I was given these like feedback forms and stuff, and I was thinking, how am I going to deal with this? And a part of me said, I don't really want to deal with it at all. So I'm going to have to be like somebody else filling it out, saying kind of what they want, and then giving them a bone. They kind of like, oh, I need to do that. Raise any concerns. So it's got some construction to it. But it's basically like a BS, really. It's kind of like, do you agree? Do you slightly agree? There's all these things. Like, if someone slightly disagrees or somebody slightly agrees, how's that going to be any use in the long term? It's going to... And also, they might have already decided what they think your results are, and then you write them out a particular way, and then there might be sort of, well, hang on, I don't think you'd be thinking like this. And they sort of... it might be setting myself up something to be used against me, which I'm aware of, like, what's your impact of your behaviour towards your clients, and do you think you're delivering such and such towards them? All these kinds of things. I mean, the thing is, you have to manage yourself and manage other people, and if you can't manage yourself, then that will overspill into other people, like your workplace and so on. And it's kind of to micromanage yourself in certain ways, departmentalize, and some other stuff. It's just kind of putting the toolkit into place. So I'm going to use that, and how can I use that as leverage on the person that's asking for this information? So that's the other thing as well, because I don't want to be caught up in somebody else's game. So it's kind of game in the system, because work have got certain loops you want to jump through. And it's again same with other stuff in society. You just want to put on this persona or avatar or whatever it is to get through the day, get you to where you want to be, even if that's for a while, just to achieve your goals, basically. Anyways, peace on off. Have a great one, and speak to you soon. Bye.